The Giants don't have any of that.
No, they don't.
But guess what?
They barely snuck into the playoffs.
But guess what they did?
They won the Super Bowl.
They beat one of the best football teams ever assembled. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the starting five, where me, Dante, and Ben, we're going to be drafting a starting five lineup of the best sports teams of all time. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first? Who went first for the starting nine last time? Do you remember?
I went first.
Okay, so I'll go first here.
You can go first.
Okay. The first overall pick for my starting lineup, the first team I'm going with, it's technically a Big Four team, but it's not like an NBA roster, an NFL, anything like that. It's a collection of players made for a specific 1992 Olympic basketball team. And that's the 92 Dream Team, consisting of just some of the greatest players of all time: Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Clyde Drexler, Scottie Pippen, Chris Mullin, and Christian Laettner made his way onto that team. I understand it's not really a typical 1996 Bulls or 2015 Warriors, whatever it may be, but this team put together, they were probably the most dominant team ever assembled. Just wreaked havoc in the Olympics, won gold that year. Obviously, there's documentaries made. There's just so many stories around this team, how great they were, and it was kind of an easy decision for me to make.
All right, well, I'm going to college football. There's a lot to choose from in college football.
There's a lot to choose from.
You got the 2001 Miami Hurricanes. The older, you can go farther back. You can go to Nebraska. We're going to go pretty recently. 2019. Everyone knows the national championship. The LSU Tigers in 2019.
Yep, your boy Joe Burrow.
As dominant a team as you could find. They set the record for most players drafted in a year. You had Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson at wide receiver, and Joe Burrow at quarterback, Clyde at running back, Terrace Marshall even as your wide receiver 3, Thaddeus Moss.
That team was stacked.
That LSU team was record-setting. They cruised through the playoff. They destroyed Oklahoma. What was it? It was 63-28. Ooh. It was 49-14 at half.
That's ridiculous. That's stupid. That's stupid.
But yeah, that team was disgusting.
My next pick, I'm sticking with basketball here. There's a lot of great basketball teams. There's one team in particular that arguably the greatest basketball team of all time, and that is the 1996 Chicago Bulls.
Okay.
Led by Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen won 70 games that year, which for a while was the record for most wins in a regular season, recently broken by the Golden State Warriors.
Yep.
But the difference between the two teams is that the Chicago Bulls were still able to make it to the finals and win the finals. Yeah. Led by Michael Jordan, nearly swept their way through the playoffs. They only lost one game going into the finals and lost two to the Seattle Supersonics, another team in Seattle. But Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan. He won MVP that year. He averaged 30 points a game. This was, when Michael Jordan was doing Michael Jordan stuff, and the Bulls were unstoppable that year. So,
all right, well, as I alluded to before, the 2001 Miami Hurricanes, 12-0 in 2001. First of all, they allowed 9.7 points a game.
Oof, that's
scored,
absurd.
I think it was 42.6 a game.
Oh God.
They won by an average of 32.9 points per game. And then just the players they had: Ken Dorsey, Clinton Portis, Willis McGahee, Frank Gore, Jeremy Shockey, Andre Johnson, Bryant McKinney, Vince Wilfork, Jonathan Vilma, Ed Reed, Phil Buchanan, Kellen Winslow II, Sean Taylor, Antrell Roll.
Oh my gosh. What the fuck?
And they had a stacked roster.
Damn.
But when you have Ed Reed and Sean Taylor.
Yeah, that's an absurd lineup. I didn't realize how stacked it was. And then the running
backs, Clinton Portis, Frank Gore, Willis McGahee.
That's ridiculous. That's absolutely nutty. I'm stepping away from basketball now.
Okay.
I'm going to put this team out here now. I definitely don't think you have this team in your list, but I'm going to get it out of the way. I'm going with... I was doing some research, and I was looking up some of the best teams of all time, and I came across this team that I really just couldn't believe the stats I was reading. The 2013 New Zealand national rugby team.
Wow.
Have you heard anything about the rugby team before?
No.
Okay, so let me spit some facts at you. Over the last 100 years, they have an 84% win percentage. They have never been ranked lower than third on world rankings, and they won 3 World Cups, which is unheard of. They went undefeated. The 2013, the team I picked specifically, the first and only team in history to go undefeated in the entire calendar year. And over the last 4 years, I know we're talking about 13, but in the last 4 years, they have a 94% win percentage. First and only team to go back-to-back in the World Cup as well, which is every 4 years, just like soccer. The New Zealand All Blacks rugby team. Shout out to them.
So for my third team, we're going with the 2007 Patriots.
Fuck. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Obviously clouded by their loss to the Giants. Mm-hmm. But they were the first NFL team to go 16-0 in a regular season.
Yep.
You had MVP Tom Brady. You had 23 touchdown Randy Moss.
They had everything.
No weaknesses. No. I mean, obviously, you know, they lost the Super Bowl, but that was a miracle for the Giants to win.
Yep.
Miracle play. That happens. There's nothing you can really do to stop that.
That's true.
Doesn't take away the fact that this Patriots team, I mean, they scored 36.8 points per game.
Yeah, they were fucking ridiculous.
The first eight teams they won by a combined 204 points. It's going to be forgotten about more times than not because they lost the last game.
Yeah.
But to go 18-1 in an entire year,
and what makes it even worse is they had a chance to redeem themselves 4 years later, and didn't do it.
Yeah,
you know, I'm upset, but I'm happy you did that because I'm gonna give a little shout out. I'm gonna give a shout out to my boy, Big Mike. Shout out to you, Big Mike. We did a draft similar to this where we did best sports teams of all time, and he picked the 2007 Giants, and I'm putting the 2007 Giants on my team. Right. Now listen, greatest team of all time. You talked about one of the greatest teams of all time, the Patriots. No weaknesses. They had, they were just unbeatable, unstoppable, outscoring opponents by as many as they were, putting up as many points as they were. The Giants don't have any of that.
No, they don't.
But guess what?
I mean, they barely snuck into the playoffs.
But guess what they did?
They won the Super Bowl.
They beat one of the best football teams ever assembled.
If you beat the greatest team of all time, one of the greatest teams of all time, I mean, some people call that Patriots team the greatest team of all time, then...
Listen, Eli Manning has 2 rings.
He does.
And he has beat Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowl.
He is Tom Brady's kryptonite.
He is a thorn in the side of Tom Brady, bro. He's got his number. But we're talking about 2007 Giants again. They snuck into the playoffs. Definition of an underdog. I mean, I don't think there really could be a bigger underdog than the Giants going into this game. I think they were double digit.
And even in the game,
double digit underdogs going in, like betting wise and everything.
It was like 12.5. The Pats were favored.
Man, if I was into betting back then, that would have been wild. If you took the Giants,
Vegas would have won so much money.
Vegas would have won a lot of money. But yeah, so literally, I'm picking the Giants because they beat the team you just praised
logic. That
so
is
very
fair
much.
Logic. It is.
So I had both those teams written down here, and it was just going to be a matter of if you picked the Patriots first or not. Yeah. So
all right, we're going with the 85 Bears now.
Oh, okay. It.
So a little bit different than the Pats. They did finish the job. They didn't go undefeated. They went 15-1. Mm-hmm. The first 2 playoff games were against the Giants and the Rams.
Yep.
Can you guess the combined score for both teams?
Enlighten me.
45-0.
Okay. 45. Okay.
And then they beat the Patriots 46-10 in the Super Bowl.
Oh shit. Okay.
I mean, you had Mike Ditka coach.
Yeah.
Walter Payton on offense. Mike Singletary on defense. They allowed 12.4 points per game. They had 9 Pro Bowlers. They had William the Refrigerator Perry.
Yep. Absolutely.
They had this guy, Richard Dent. He had 17 sacks and 1 MVP. Mike Singletary won Defensive Player of the Year. They were scoring 28 points a game. That playoff run, I mean, 101-10 in the playoffs.
That's ridiculous. That's absurd.
Silly.
That is silly.
Absolutely silly. Or 91-10, I should say.
Yep.
I did my math wrong. But 91-10 in 3 games in the playoffs is absolutely absurd. Just a loaded team. Yeah. Once again.
Absolutely.
And they performed and they won. They finished it off, unlike the Pats, but they finished it off.
I'm going to go with the 1986 New York Mets. The thing about the 1986 Mets, I think you know a little thing or two about the 96 Mets. So one of the only teams in MLB history to basically double their wins. They have double wins and losses, 108 and 54, finished first in the division. They won the World Series that year in 70 games, beat the Boston Red Sox. You know, they're obviously remembered for the things that they did off the field as well. This team was just the definition of fun. It was just
I can't believe they
made up
won
of a bunch of rock
I
stars.
can't believe
These
that,
guys
dude.
would go out drinking one night and then spend the night in jail. They would go out and fight people on the field. I wish I was around in the 80s just to be able to follow this team and watch them, because they were just a journey from start to beginning. They were the bad boys, I guess. They were the rock stars of the MLB, and they were just so fucking good. There was nothing anyone could say about them doing what they were doing off the field besides the law, because obviously some of them were getting arrested, but they were World Series champions, and they were one of the more dominant teams, one of the most dominant teams in baseball that year.
Okay, so our last team.
Yep.
It's tough because the 2018 Red Sox were one of the greatest teams of all time.
Dude,
the best Red Sox team of all time.
Let me tell you something, dude. That playoff run was one of the most enjoyable runs I've ever seen for any sport ever.
But
there's one team that's better.
And it's the 2004 Red Sox.
Oh, okay.
Now again, like 2017, 2007 they were a better team.
Yep.
2018 they were a better team. 2013, I guess kind of like 2004, like more of a storybook kind of thing.
Definitely.
But this team is a wild card team.
Mm-hmm.
They went and swept the Angels. Then they were down and out against the Yankees.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah, 3-0. 4 nights in Boston, baby.
No
4
team had ever
nights.
done that before.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, they're still the only team in Major League Baseball history to overcome a 3-0
Really?
deficit
Still?
in either the CS or the World Series.
I'll tell you something. That's a very
It's only been done in hockey.
That's a very hard accomplishment. That's something that you can't just, you have to have a lot of heart to do that. They weren't the best team, like we were saying, but it's team of destiny, and it was just.
And then they went and they swept
the
Cardinals.
Swept the Cardinals, exactly.
Like, I mean, just what a team!
What a team that was.
Just an absolute one of the greatest stories of all time. First World Series in many years.
Broke the curse. The Red Sox have a lot of good World Series teams.
They do
over the last 2 decades.
Like 07, again, they were down 3-1 to the Indians.
Yep.
Won. Then they swept the Rockies. So very 2004 like.
We put together some good teams. So I'll give my starting 5. I have the 92 Dream Team, the 96 Bulls, the New England All Blacks rugby team from 2013, the 2007 Giants, the Combat Your 2007 Patriots, and the 1986 All Fun Mets.
All right, so I have the 2019 LSU Tigers, the 2001 Miami Hurricanes, the 07 Patriots, the 85 Bears, and the 04 Boston Red Sox.
I like our teams.
I do.
We have a good mix.
Yeah.
Like mix of
like statistically being really good, and also just like storybook seasons.
Exactly. But that's our starting 5 of the best sports teams of all time. Put in the comments who you think had the best starting 5. Also put in the comments what you would like to see us do next. Other type of quiz videos, starting 5 videos. Make sure to like, subscribe. Check out all of the other content on this channel and other channels as well. I think we're good, Ben. So until next time, peace out.